everyone, welcome back to my cake world. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to decorate a Jemima puddle duck cake. I'll show you how to paint on buttercream cakes and how to paint landscape. And also I'll share a couple of tips to make it easier for you to decorate your own. Alright, let's get started. So to begin, I'm doing an ombre effect on my frosted cake. The idea is to get the backdrop ready for the landscape to show the sky and the land. I mixed my buttercream lightly in colors to show the sky, hills and the green ground. As you can see here, my cake was really cold, so the colors were not blending in well to get that ombre effect. If you're trying this effect or this technique, make sure your cake is slightly soft and not very cold in order for the base color to blend in well. Once I'm happy with my ombre effect, I'm going to draw the tree line that you would see from the distance on the hills. So to do that, I'm mixing a little bit of green buttercream with brown and also with moss green. It doesn't have to be just one color. You can mix brown and shades of green and get different shades of earthy colors. Here I'm removing a bit of green part from the bottom of the cake to make a little sort of a pathway, and I'm marking where I should be, where I should go, and I have got my reference picture, so I'm drawing according to that. So I've started painting the little pathway here. See how I hold my paintbrush? I'm holding it horizontally. Now I'm using brush number 0.1 and I'm not dragging it on the cake. I'm just softly dabbing as I go and painting some jagged lines here and there, making either side of the pathway darker than in the middle. I'm painting this according to my reference picture. So throughout this project, I used only few colors: olive green, leaf green, khaki and cream. I mixed those colors to get different shades of earthy colors to match my reference picture. By mixing colors and layering them when painting, it gives a nice depth and definition to your painting. Here in this area, I'm painting it with white buttercream to show where the light hits on the ground, and also I'm using dark shades of moss green and leaf green to show where the shadow falls. Always keep your paintbrush clean when you're working with buttercream, and when you're coloring, take a tiny bit of paint or buttercream to the tip of your brush. Don't drag your paint brush on the cake, it will take away the buttercream, the top layer of the buttercream. Instead, just softly dab. Now to get the tree line, all you have to do is softly dab to get tiny lines to show off distant plants or the tree line. There is no right or wrong way here. You can be creative. If you're new to drawing or painting, you can always keep a reference picture as a guide and follow that. To get the bumpy ground effect, I'm using my palette knife. I got a dollop of white buttercream to that, pasted it there, and I'm using another brush to smooth the edges so that it'll blend into the background. Also, I'm layering it with other earthy colors to give it more dimension and nice depth to it. You need to smooth the buttercream so that it'll blend to the background. Moving on to plants, you can either use your palette knife to make branches like shown here, or you can use a paintbrush. Now again, your brush should be clean and not drenched with color or buttercream. And don't drag the paintbrush on the cake. Slowly work upwards, dabbing gently to make the branches as you go. For the leaves, I piped the outline first and then filled it, and with a clean brush I smoothed the surface of the leaf. Now to give it more dimension, to show where the lights and the shadowy area of the leaves, I'm mixing it with white buttercream and also with dark buttercream to show those shadow and light areas. There's no black here, I'm only using darker shades of green and brown. For the flowers, you can either paint the flowers or you can make the flowers with buttercream. I'm using buttercream to make the flowers. Now these flowers are called foxglove flowers and has a sort of a bill shape to it. So for that, I'm taking a clean brush and taking a small dollop of buttercream, and using that paintbrush, I'm keeping it where just dabbing it where I want the flower to face, and with another tiny tip paintbrush, I'm just dragging the buttercream down to sort of get a bell shape. So I've used Swiss meringue buttercream for this cake to frost it and to paint on it. Start with a cold cake and refrigerate in between, and it is better to work in a temperature controlled room when you are working with or painting with buttercream. These white flowers, I'm using nozzle number 0, a round tip to pipe the petals. All I'm doing is piping a tiny dot and dragging it to the center of the flower to make a shape of a teardrop. Once I finish piping all the flowers, then I'm cleaning up with a clean brush to define the shape of the petals. The cake board was too white and flashy, so I just extended the background, the landscape painting, to the cake board as well. Okay, now for the cake toppers, I have this puddle duck topper that I made out of gum paste, and I have some berry plants and some other leafy plants that I made out of wafer paper. I'll have a separate video down to show you how I made those. So final few decorations, I have made this small fence out of fondant. I have 2 of them inserted, and I'm going to pipe some vines all over the fence. I'm using tip number 0, a round tip, and followed by tip number 352 will turn to pipe some leaves. Piping a quick buttercream tree stump here. Now if you watched Jemima Puddle Duck cartoon, when she came to find a place to lay her egg, there was a fox sitting on a tree stump. This is to resemble that. Now all I'm doing is piping a blob of buttercream and taking my palette knife and my paintbrush, shaping it, adding layers of colors to give it a nice depth and dimension. Finally, placing some fondant beads that I've made, and we are done decorating. I'm so happy with the way how it turned out, and I love painting on cake. It's so relaxing and so mesmerizing. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a few things along the way. I'll see you guys soon with another one. Until then, take care you guys.